Sigma Square Media welcomes you to this week's edition of The Corner Podcast, which is actually our premiere edition. So glad you could join me. I'm your host, Herschel J. Grandin Jr., aka Herschel Jr., The Voice, recording from somewhere in West Georgia. Be sure to check me out on Facebook, Herschel Jr. The Voice, Twitter at H Jr. The Voice, and Herschel Jr. The Voice on Instagram. By now, I'm hoping you had a chance to check out episode 1 of The Corner Talk Show. If not, I need you to hit pause right now and head on over to the Sigma Square Media YouTube page or hit the link in the description and check it out. Be sure to like it, share it, subscribe to the page, tell your mama, cousin, them, you know the deal. Trying to get this thing off the ground and I need your help. Please don't be that guy, don't be that gal. I will be eternally grateful. I digress. Like I said, this is the premiere edition of the Corner Podcast that coincides with the premiere episode. The plan is to release the talk show on Fridays and the corresponding podcast on Saturdays to give everyone a chance to see the show before we go into a little more depth in the podcast version. This is a culmination of a lot of deferred dreams coming to fruition, and I hope that you enjoyed as much as I have putting it together. As I stated in the talk show intro, The Corner is an avenue for men to hopefully glean some tips on simply being better, financially, in our relationships, and otherwise. This week we're focusing on being better mentally. So I sat down with author Dr. Michael Maceo, whose book Pushing Restart is currently available on Amazon in download form and of course in hard copy. Be sure to check him out on Instagram at Michael_Maceo. This book spoke to me, it really did. Pushing Restart is a guide for those who feel like they may be in a rut either professionally or personally, and gives you a virtual blueprint of sorts to navigate your way out of that rut. I've certainly been there and I know you have too. And as you'll hear in the full version of our interview, Dr. Maceo was in his own personal rut and decided to do something about it.
I realized that there was more to life than offer. Have you ever found yourself being successful in what you seek for, and then when you get there, you're still disappointed?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's where I was at.
Okay, so
I kept running into this wall, and the wall was, there's more to life, and I didn't know how to get over it. And I just kind of gave up. And I stopped. I took a moment, I paused and said, wait a minute, enough is enough. I've had success this, success that. And I ran into this space of, I think I can do this a different way this time.
Okay.
And that's what started this roller coaster ride.
What exactly was going on at that point in time in your life?
Everything was going terribly at the same time. Everything was going well. Okay. You know, it's amazing that I started businesses, established businesses. That were very successful. I took a business from zero in less than 18 months, established over 6 to 7 figures. Okay. So that's financially, I understood how to create income. You know, I'm from the street. You talk about the corner. I'm an ex-drug dealer. You know, a lot of people don't know that. Okay. I was in the streets, and I like to tell that story because I want people to understand that because of who you once was, don't define who you futurely want to be or presently want to be, for that matter.
Exactly.
And so that stirred up me pushing Restart, but I wanted to push Restart in a totally different framework of mine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely have dealt with that in my own life. A few years ago, I saw myself just in the same rut of a job that I've been in for about 9 years and decided to step out. Me and my spouse went out and decided we were going to do something totally different. And like you said, you know, people giving us the side eye and saying,
oh, brother,
y'all
this
sure?
thing,
Y'all crazy? What's wrong with y'all? So I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
Now, in your book, you talk about growing up in foster care and how that helped you learn that you could talk to anyone. You developed what you call like a chameleon-like lifestyle. Now, it was that ability that helped you realize that you could help people. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I lived in so many different homes. I stayed in different from white to black to brown, you know, different religions. I stayed in a Hindu home. I stayed in I stayed in a Baptist home. I stayed in a home that was holiness and thou. And I had a lot of experience, even the Mormons, believe it or not.
Really? Wow.
I was in board detentions, and so I met Catholic priests who taught me how to pray. I had a lot of spiritual experiences, and so for me to be stuck in one and getting around that wasn't normal for me. That was very out of the box for me. My norm was getting into a space, finding out the space, and being present on where you are. And my life literally changed from when I became an adult. I used the thing that I thought was a bad thing from not having a stable home as a childhood. I transitioned into this new way of life, and I tell you, it enhanced how I dealt with people. I dealt with people with compassion. I was consistent with understanding their pain. because all I knew was pain, But learning how to take my pain and use it to fuel me to move forward was always my secret weapon.
Okay, and tell us about when you first went on to passing that ability on to others, when you first realized you could help people.
Yeah, it actually happened organically. I just felt like, how can I help such and such? Like you see somebody do something. Like, for example, I remember when I first started driving a car, I got to use this example because everybody knows this.
Everybody knows that.
So I was always, jumping in people's cars and kind of stealing them. I was a kid. So we was trying to get from one space in life to another space. I'm 14 years old. And I jumped in this one car one time. I'll never forget this. It's a true story. I jumped in the car and it was a stick. And I'm in this car like, I'm 14 years old. We bad. I was a terrible kid. So I jump in the car trying to steal the car, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I put the car in reverse, didn't know it was reverse, and I drove it all the way to where I need to go. But in reverse. Exactly.
That's kind of symbolic in itself.
You caught it. That taught me something. Use what you know. And so I used my skill of knowing how to be on my toes as a kid, and I used it when I got into the drug game. The reason why I talk about that, because I want people to understand that that doesn't have to define who you are. I have a good friend named Stormy Wells, and I want to bring her up. She was actually used to be a stripper, and now she's making multi-millions of dollars, developing people, women hold your hand. And that actually, from her mentoring me and pouring it to me, mentored me to get in another space as a man and say, what can I do to help more men? What can I do to reach out and be the best version of myself as a man? And that's the journey, kind of how I started the book. Even if you're reading the very first part of the book, I talk about testimony of a man that may be 35-year-old with 2 kids. And I talk about that because it's so important and sensitive, because when people going through transition, especially having a female in your life and not having a female in your life, that pain of being by yourself. He got 2 beautiful twin kids. Imagine if that was you and that was the last time you had opportunity to, deal with life. How do I handle this space that I'm in? Exactly. So it's tough to talk about it, in this setting, but reality is people are hurting.
Well, this is it's a safe space, man. You feel the need to spit it out there, just put it out there.
And I'm working through it as this camera's on me. But the beautiful part about what we're understanding is I found out in my transition that there was a few tools that we could use to help transition people. And if I could share those, I would love to.
Yes,
man.
Please.
So I want to talk about a little bit how to raise your energy. One of the things that we find ourselves is we get stuck a lot of times in a place where we just want to go from A to B, right? And so what do we do when we want to feel good? What's one of the main things everybody usually uses? Music, right? So we'll put some good music on it, and we'll get to dancing, and it'll put us in a different state of being. Let's stay together.
Okay, I know we're gonna get a show today.
You get in the mood. See, that just changed the whole vibe. Yeah. I didn't even know the words of the song, but the melody, the vibration, right?
Exactly.
It changed the state of the energy. Even the people in the background were dancing.
You got my producer back there doing her thing. Right?
Here's the reality. See, when we get ourselves in a different state, we're able to move out of a negative space or a space that's not benefiting us.
Say that.
So one of the things that raised my frequency is I start listening to music. Okay. Then I start singing. Then I start hearing myself sing. Then it changed my framework again. I saw myself getting into another space. That also began to say, so I started realizing the way I think, and I caught it. I said, I found the gold mine. So when I realized how I think transitions to me to another place in life, I figured out how I push restart by the way I think.
Okay. How
a man thinks allows a man to go to another level in who he is. And that's a powerful way to transition.
That is true. Very true. I like that.
Thank you.
Now we're going to stay on that same flow. Now in your book you talked about approaching this restart not just from a mental perspective, but spiritually through meditation and prayer, and
yes.
Talked about breathing and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, give us a little tidbit of how the restart would look in terms of like you breathing.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I get excited about that part because breathing is. I didn't understand what breathing was. Growing up again, the way we grow up, a lot of us, anxieties. Everyone has anxiety some way or another, depression, some kind of way, meaning something that exalts you. So when I think of breathing, I think clearly of getting in a space of. The most simplest thing anyone can do is just breathe. Like, just close your eyes for a moment. If you feel in a very strong and a rough place, just breathe. Just inhale, exhale. Just take that moment and yeah.
And just that short little.
And it helps,
some cleansing, yeah.
It transitions and it develops you, and it helps you release pressure, the stress of your environment, and just let it go and move forward, especially when you're in a different space. Most of us are afraid to step into new territories. Whenever you step in a new territory, one of the main things is you gotta take a breather. And I think we all need to take a breather. Can we all take a breather right now? Inhale. Exhale. Good job. All right, good job. I'm being silly.
Okay, now I don't normally let people come to set and bring props with them, but since you're the first guest,
Appreciate that.
tell me about, because everybody on the crew been playing with this.
Oh, they've been touching y'all been touching my ball.
They've been touching your ball sack. What's that about?
How does it feel to you guys' fingers?
Thankfully, our HR department didn't develop yet. So.
Okay, great. No, this ball is one of the key ingredients. I'm glad we brought it up. Two things, my main two tools that help me. If I don't go to anything, I go to this one. The first one is my focus. I realized that if I train my body, my whole energy shifted when I got to this. When I grab this, it changes my energy. So it reminds me, I feel the ball. If you can feel it, if you can just touch it. It's soft. It reminds me of my heart. And I try to stay with my own heart, and it's kind of like a dog. You know how you get a dog and you throw a dog attentions get focused. He gets excited, right? And you just throw the ball, right? And you just go, you go after it. And the same thing with me, what I do is I said, well, I can train myself the same way. Let me encourage myself. When I don't know my focus, I find my zen by throwing the ball, and I get my focus. So that's my first two. The second one is balance. So I do this zen move where I stand up and I zen and, zen out and relax. And I practice balancing, so I have focus and balance is the two tools to help me move forward. And my hidden internal movement while I'm doing that is breathing. That's my ABCs every day, and that's why I have this ball in front of you. And the color as well, it stimulates your mind, your senses wake up. So many things I can talk about. I get excited about this stuff.
I mean, like I said, it's your time to just put it all out there. I mean, I've been reading the book. I'm not gonna lie and say I finished it yet, but I mean, I'm working on. You could have told everybody.
They don't know you finished it.
Well, hey, I believe in full disclosure here on the corner, But definitely, it's been what I have read has been inspirational.
What's been inspiring to you?
Just changing the whole mental focus, and like you said, just taking a moment to pause and just pause.
Yeah.
Because I have a really bad habit. My wife will tell you. She knows, and she's looking at me right now. She knows that I get in this. We gotta do this. Gotta do that. Gotta do this, and stuff will go undone because I'm not focused on it. But if I would just take a moment and, like you say, just restart and just
and it's a continual work. It's like practicing by breathing. Breathing helps you be in the now. Like when you be now, like being present, being here right now. I had to make a few things a must in my life though. One of the things is consistency and being present. And that helps your breathing. Like right now, we're here recording this. We're actually sitting here in this room. We are experiencing one another. You look sharp. You're preparing your environment. You're preparing your future. You're starting something new. Enjoy that process, and being present on it. And I had to do that as frequently as possible. Stay where you are. Where are you presently? What are you doing next? Don't focus on the next move, but what are you doing presently? What are you doing present? And where the present is, there's a gift that lies there. So the more I can be present, there's gifts that lie there. There's benefits that lie there. There's movement.
I see what you did there.
You see it? Get it?
Good.
So it's a powerful movement, though, if we can actually just don't think about that. Shifting from our mindset or our thoughts and allow ourselves to be centered, more balanced, with focus. And we practice that on a consistent basis, we'll start recognizing subtle little differences in how we live and move. And it's important that there's so much more to life than we even recognize and that we have.
Yeah, now you mentioned that you actually do some life coaching as well.
Absolutely.
So how can people get in touch with you to partake of the services?
Yeah, that's a good point. You can connect with me on Michael _Maceo. Hopefully they should put it online here on Instagram.
And we're gonna repeat it anyway. So.
Right, and but the main way we can do it is I'm working on a course right now. You can go on YouTube and just put Pushing Restart on YouTube, and my name will come up. Okay, you'll see us. But we're working on courses right now as we speak, specifically on Pushing Restart. And the next book project we're going to be talking about that is Push and Restart Again. In other words, how to stay in the vein, how to stay in the flow, how to stay in the frequency or the energy or the space that you want to dwell and live in.
Right, because it's just like, weight loss and exercise. I mean, sometimes you'll hit your weight goal and then go on vacation and come back and realize you're still
go back and restart again.
Still eating bad stuff. So you got to restart again. So that makes sense.
And it's super important, To get the momentum is another master class that you have to get into. Consistently being, when I say master class, I mean master your mind and being consistent in momentum, catching the momentum, catching the wave. You know how you do a business or something, you want to catch that wave, so you keep going. Just hold on to it and harness that as long as you can. That's another powerful tool as well that you can add value to your life to, get the desires that you want in your world.
Okay, yeah, I can see it just bubbling out of you. You just got a whole much more stuff you want to talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if you know who Tony Robbins is. Tony Robbins, he has courses where he do one course. He sit with somebody for 2 or 3 days just to get that one wisdom out. And I think you need to be immersed. More of us need to immerse our lives and just maximizing the time that we have to live in our life. We're not doing that, though. And I want to encourage us on the corner to do more of that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to come back in just a few moments. Stay with us here on the corner, all right? Raise your energy. Breathe. Balance. 3 things we can definitely all use. Now, since we don't have the benefit of video right now, the ball sack that we were all giggling about like juveniles was a mini beanbag toy that Dr. Maceo keeps with him as a token of focus and recentering. Recentering, is that a word? Oh, well, it is now. Once we took a short break, we had the pleasure of Dr. Maceo reading a passage from his book for us on Affirmations. And we're back. Now, Michael, you said you had something you wanted to read to us from the back of your book.
Yeah, I love to talk about affirmations. What we say specifically on a daily basis to ourselves is important. What are you speaking into your world? And if you don't pay attention to that, it doesn't bring any value to your time. You want to maximize your time that you have. And I want to read this affirmation, if that's okay for your audience. And
I'm looking forward to it already.
And it's a simple one that you can read on a daily basis. And it says, I am not my body nor my mind. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Every single day, I will expand my life in every single way. In my body, in my being, in my balance, and in my business. Every single day, I have the opportunity to expand and be the best version of myself. As I push this day, I will push this day with rest. I will see ultimately clear. I will produce clarity in my mind, in my being, in my heart, and in my soul. Every single day, I will see myself as I am, clearly. I will tell the truth to myself as often as possible, and I will continue to be all that I call myself to be as I pursue everything that I see in my heart. Every dream, every purpose that I have, this is my day, and I'm grateful that I'm here in it. Salah.
Bro, you gave me a chill. That was beautiful.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Pleasure. Meditation is a key. I think the last statement, if I could give one, is starve your distractions and start feeding your focus. When you starve your distractions and you start feeding your focus, where your focus goes, awareness grows. And when your focus goes and your awareness grows, there's another tool that's hidden behind there. The last quote, Nikola Tesla said that energy, frequency, and vibrations are the secret of the universe. And if I tap into those secrets, energy, frequency, and vibration, and follow those, I realize there's a lot more value that I have that I left on the table if I just maximize that time. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Starve your distractions and feed your focus. Words to live by no matter who you are. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to leave it right there. I certainly want to thank Dr. Michael Maceo once again for sitting down with me and dropping those words of wisdom. Be sure to head to Amazon, get your own personal copy of his book, Push and Restart. It'll certainly be worth it. If you want to follow Dr. Maceo, he's available on Instagram at Michael_Maceo. And if you Google Push and Restart, all the info in his book will come up. I also want to thank you for rocking with me for a little while on the Corner podcast. I hope it was beneficial, and I certainly welcome your feedback, good, bad, or otherwise, on how we can make this thing as great as it can possibly be. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Herschel J. Grandin Jr. and Herschel Jr. The Voice, as well as Twitter at H Jr. The Voice, and on Instagram at Herschel Jr. The Voice. Also hop on the Sigma Square Media YouTube page for this week's video version of The Corner, And be sure to leave your comments, like it, share it, and tune in next week. Next week's episode will be released this coming Friday at 7 p.m. with links on all formats. That's it for this week. For The Corner, I'm your host, Herschel J. Grandgent Jr., aka Herschel Jr., The Voice. Peace.